Hi, welcome to the 13th floor Uptown Lowdown. I'm Marty Jemilah, and
I'm Jemilah Ross Hayes.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Good to see you again. How you been?
Yes, good to see you again. I've been good.
Good.
Busy.
I went to a lot of shows this week.
I didn't go to so many, but it still felt like a lot.
Okay, very good. Well, let's tell people what we did as far as some live music coverage on the 13th floor, and then we'll get into the other stuff, all right?
Sounds good.
I will start because I went to a show on Wednesday.
Nice.
Yeah, it was at the Neck of the Woods.
Cool.
Have
cool
you been
venue.
to the Neck?
Yeah.
See, I've had mixed results with the Neck of the Woods,
Yeah.
but this is the best I've seen it.
That's cool.
It was a great vibe, and the band that was the headliner is Lips.
Yeah.
So, and I was excited to see them. I only got there for their set because I was doing other stuff. But I got to see Lips at the Neck of the Woods. Steph Brown she's known as a songwriter. She's the front person for the band. But the thing that impressed me the most about their show was her showmanship.
Yeah.
So she
cool.
she was so happy to be
Yeah.
on stage, and that joy
Just
went through the
placebos on the
crowd, and
audience,
everybody
yeah.
was smiling at the end of the show.
I love a show like that.
It was a beautiful thing. They're plugging their album, and they started out the show with Steph right behind her keyboard on stage by herself,
Yeah.
starting to sing, and then as the song progressed, the rest of the band marched in from like the door
Yeah.
through the crowd. It was like a New Orleans style kind
Yeah,
of processional, and then up on the stage. So it was good fun all the way around.
Yeah, sounds like a great concert.
And she, some of her songs, I mean, she really dug in there and was like, there's a lot of
emotion.
So yeah. Anyway, so that was that. I was thrilled to pieces with that show.
That's
so that was
great.
a good one. And then what did I do? The next night I was at the Whammy Bar.
Cool.
Kane
Also
Strang was
yeah.
the headliner, and he was excellent, but there were some issues at that one. It wasn't the best show that I've been to, I gotta
Yeah.
say, and there were two reasons. The venue was way crowded.
Yeah.
So maybe oversold, I don't know, but it
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
like
felt
it.
like that.
And I've been there when it's been sold out before,
Yeah.
this felt worse. So there's that. The lighting's always been an issue at Whammy, so they've tried to work on it, but they've made it worse.
Oh no.
So the lights in the back of the stage are blaring out
Blinding you, yeah.
and right in your eyes, so you can't see. I had a headache at the end of it. We're trying to. You'll see the photos that I shot. There's lights in every photo. And Emily Adroza, who was the opening act, had a few issues with her guitar.
Yeah.
And I love Emily. She used to be in Street Chant. She's back from the U.S. and she's been touring around. She just got through opening for Courtney Barnett,
Oh, cool.
where she had a guitar tech. Now
that would be amazing.
Yeah, she was wishing she had it
Yeah,
because she
yeah.
spent an awful long time tuning up her
it
guitar,
sucks.
which kind of was a bummer.
Yeah.
So that was the low point of the show. Kane and his band was kind of an all-star band. The guy from Wax Chattels, who's with
Yeah.
everybody who's in
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and a bunch of other folks. They were excellent.
Yeah. Oh, ended good.
So it was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
and then you.
I went to Ben and Brody at Cassette 9.
Yep.
I was pleasantly surprised. It's not too often these days that I don't, never heard of an artist before I go and see them.
Right.
But these are two kids. One of them's just out of high school. They're siblings.
Right.
And one of them's still in high school. And they're making really good music. They've won Smoke Free Rock Quest
Cool.
in school and done really cool music videos and lots of sort of different genres mixed with very strong pop focus. But there
Right.
was a song with a bit of a samba rhythm, a bit of a reggae song, a bit of a folk song, and so it's really like interesting throughout the night. Like every
Cool.
song was a little bit different.
I like that.
And I was really impressed, and they seem like really cute kids. And Brody couldn't stop, and it's funny because I'm barely older than them, but
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Brody had this like really sweet way of thanking everybody for coming and saying, "Oh, I hope you really enjoy this one. I'm having so much fun." And it just, like you said about the Lips gig, like,
Yeah.
they were just loving it.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
was really like it made you feel real special to be there because they were just having such a good time.
Excellent. So then on Saturday night, I went to my local pub,
Yeah.
the Corner Store, which is I frequently.
Frequently visit.
And
Yeah.
so they do have occasional live gig, and they had this. We have a bunch of regulars, and two
Yeah.
of them are in this band. They're called
cool.
Judge Fudge and the Scatterbrains.
Oh, wow.
They do kind of ska punk
Yeah.
thing, and they have an album out. It's called Fudgement Day, of course. So
Sounds
we caught
fitting.
them, and it's a good vibe at the Corner Store. Everybody kind of knows everybody. And the highlight for me was their ska version of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance.
Yeah, classic song. Yeah.
Fun. So that was good.
Cool.
And then from there, I went to someplace I'd never been before. On Sunday, I went to see Troy Kingy and Delaney
Nice.
Davidson at the Lee Sawmill.
Cool.
So I drove up, spent the day there
Yeah.
in
How long
Lee.
does it take to drive up there?
It takes about 2 hours.
Oh wow. Okay, that's
Yep.
longer than I thought. Yeah.
And it was raining and it was miserable, but once we got
Worth
in
it.
there, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So we loved seeing Troy and Delaney. I'll have some photos up on the website. They're coming to the 13th floor to do their thing
Soon.
here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, exciting.
So that's very exciting for us. So yeah, that's how the live situation
last week.
shaped up last week. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, time for our new album of the week.
Cool.
This is a band I never heard of.
Yeah,
it's
me
called
neither.
The Umbrellas, and I just spoke to them just before
Like
we
an hour
did
ago.
this.
Yeah.
And they're a 4-piece band from San Francisco, and they play what we call jangle rock, which is kind of, the Byrds,
Yeah,
Mr. Tambourine
yeah.
Man, the 12-string Rickenbacker sound.
Yeah.
So that's the bass for it. And then there was a thing happening in the early 80s called the Paisley Underground. And so that's a continuation of that sound. So it's still very popular among the kids apparently these days.
Watching the video, it sounds very reminiscent of that.
Yeah. So their album just came out this past Friday. It's just called The Umbrellas, and I just love the sound. And I'll play you a bit of the interview that we're talking about
Let's see it.
with them. Yeah. I noticed from listening to the record that the sound kind of goes back and forth between the songs that Matt sings and the ones that Morgan sings, and to me, and I'll say one of these music journalisty things that you probably hate, but you guys sound kind of like the Bangles meet the Velvet Underground.
Oh wow, I like that.
All right,
That's quite nice.
I like that.
Yeah, we haven't heard that one yet. That's amazing. I like that a lot.
Yep. So that's me talking to the Umbrellas. The cool thing was the girl. I think her name is Morgan Stanley, and then the guy, his name is Matt. So they kind of trade off. And
That's cool.
I
It's
told
nice
them
to have a bit of two people doing the same thing.
Yeah, it was much better with the two of them. I told them they sounded like a cross between the Bangles and the Velvet Underground.
And they're happy with that?
They were.
Yeah.
So that was good.
All right, on to the new single of the week, Reb Fountain. I know you love Reb Fountain.
I do love
Marty.
Reb. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, new album Iris released on October the 1st.
Yep.
There'll be a tour in November.
Yeah, so the
and
new song is called Lacuna.
Yeah.
So here's my question for you with Reb.
Yeah.
So her previous album, which we love and is best album of the year, blah, 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 was a fairly drastic departure from what she did before.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
In a good way.
So she'd been listening to Cave and all these people and kind of got into her darker self
Yeah,
and
yeah.
really dug in for her songwriting. So that was great. So now the new album, do I want it to sound like the one that just came out that I really love, or do I want her to sound even more different? I don't know.
I guess if it's different in a good way,
Right.
you're going to be like, wow, she can do so many cool things and they're all different.
Yep.
But if it's disappointingly different, you probably be a bit
I have
mad.
a feeling I'm not going to be disappointed,
Yeah.
but I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I've heard the single and it sounds almost quite similar to what Lord's doing. Not like in every aspect, but just sort of like the vocal tone and the sort of chillness of it.
Right.
But I think that's absolutely a good thing. I think that's like kind of what people want to listen to clearly. So
Cool. Well, let's give it a
Excited to
listen.
hear the rest.
Let's give it a listen to Lacuna.
cool.
I couldn't see the ripples in the water, told me something's out there. You're a hawk from a heron, so don't I? Whenever you mind, we used to talk about it. Love turns a mill, imagining the ways in which the toy would steer. A flag flies it off my steel. What bird may call me? What a way to start. Kisses in the dark. You know I can't behold the sum of us apart. It don't add up.
All right, now we're on to our interview of the week. As usual, I've spoken to at least 1,000 people in different bands this past
as
week.
usual.
This is what I do. I think I dream about it now. I'm
Just
just doing
Zoom is
interviews.
your-
It's insane. But anyway, this is a cool one. The act is called Torres.
Yeah.
She's actually a person by the name of Mackenzie Ruth Scott, and she has a new album out called Thirstier.
Cool.
So we talked about that. It's kind of interesting because her previous album, Silver Tongue, just came out last year. So she obviously was in lockdown, had a lot of time on her hands, so she cranked this baby out. But
Still pretty impressive.
yeah, and when I talked to her, she talked about how she went to the UK to go and work with producer Rob Ellis, who's known for his work with PJ Harvey.
Yeah.
So even in the middle of the COVID thing, she went overseas. So let's hear about that.
That's pretty awesome.
You know, more than anything, I think at this moment, I'm actually hanging out with a lot of painters.
Oh, yeah?
Because Jenna, my fiance, is a painter, and it's kind of like, you know, the world.
I have to ask, did she paint the thing behind you?
Oh yes, yeah. This is actually, this is my flex of the day. Yeah, this is how she asked me to marry her. But she's, you know, I mean, an incredible painter, and has a lot of incredible painter friends, and I've actually really enjoyed hanging out with painters. It's like it's a very rich scene, actually, and like so interesting, and I feel like I get so much out of it creatively, in a way that I've felt kind of starved for a long time, to be honest. That's not to say that I don't love, you know, also like hanging out with musicians and being part of that kind of a crew as well. It's just that, you know, sometimes that can feel a little stale, and I need to look elsewhere.
So that was me talking to Torres. Why don't we give it a listen to a little bit of her song before we move on?
Sounds good.
You want someone to worship you. I see you loving to watch me risk it all. You think you're always right, but you love watching me try. Proving you
This is our buzz segment. It's very exciting. It's about live streams.
Cool.
So I've been watching a couple of live streams in the last couple of weeks. I watched the Bob Dylan one.
Yeah.
I got to see one with St. Vincent the other day, which was kind of cool. And I just got an email that said Liam Finn is doing a Hyperverse series. I have no idea what that
Sounds
means,
pretty
but I'm sure we'll
interesting.
find out.
Yeah.
So the live stream seems to be a thing. We had Sachi, the band up here at the 13th
Doing a
floor,
live
doing a
stream.
live stream on TikTok.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, you're a musician.
Yeah.
And when you're doing this live stream, you're just playing to a bunch of goons standing behind cameras and stuff. What's it like?
I mean, in my experience, it's not even a bunch of goons. It's literally just my phone.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Because, you know, I'm not got that much, you know, money in the pocket.
Right.
It's interesting. It's I guess like everything, it's got its positives and negatives. I guess positives is that you are alone in your room, and that can in a way be comforting because it feels like you're just playing to yourself.
Right.
But the same thing can be a negative because you kind of are just playing to yourself, and so it's hard to gain that like confidence and that energy that like rolls off an audience,
Right.
and also to interact with people that aren't really there, because if you're not interacting with them, it may as well just be a video.
Right.
So to interact with people that you can't see, just being like, oh, hey guys, it can be quite
See, that was the weird thing
awkward,
with the St. Vincent one. Obviously, some of it had been pre-recorded and some of it was live.
Yeah.
But the coolest part, they had like an after-party thing.
Yeah.
And it was just her, and it had been pre-recorded, which was fine,
Yeah.
sitting by herself
Yeah.
with an acoustic guitar, just strumming some tunes
Yeah.
and answering questions that people
Oh,
had.
cool.
So I like that bit.
Yeah,
So-
pre-recorded is quite a nice way to do it because it means that any technical difficulties you can just move past. Yeah.
So we'll see what Liam Finn comes up with his Hyperverse series, okay?
It's a cool new thing that people are doing. I think
Yeah.
it's nice to explore that.
Okay. Okay, let's take a look at our recommended live shows for this week. What do we got coming up on Wednesday?
We've got Kiva, Elizabeth, and Manuela at the Wine Cellar.
Manuela's friends of yours, right?
Yeah, she's a good friend of mine. And Kiva and Elizabeth I both know through part of the music scene. They're doing jazz at Auckland Uni, or have been doing that. So
Cool.
see them around a lot.
I like it.
Should be a good one.
Thursday night, we have Lady Six is going to do something called the Alpha Session
Nice.
at the Phoenix Cabaret, which I'm not sure where that is.
No, I've never even
So
heard of that
I'm going
before.
to probably try and go there and scope
Sounds
it out.
interesting,
So
yeah.
that should be fun. And also,
We've got Make a Road at the Power Station, which
All right,
we talked
that's gonna be
about a
monstrous.
week ago, but
Yeah.
they got stuck in Oz, so they're coming back for their Stranger Days tour, and we'll see
so
them next
two
week.
nights, right?
Yeah, Thursday and Friday
Cool, cool,
at the
cool.
Power Station.
And then one of my favorites, Mima Wilda, is doing a thing out at the Uxbridge Arts Place on Friday.
Cool.
She's the one that I saw with Freya a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and she opened for her and just kind of blew the doors off the
Oh,
place.
that's
so,
awesome.
So we'll see what
That'd be
that's
cool.
how she's doing that. And the same night, looks like Manuela
Yeah,
is
Manuela is playing her single release gig, so I think she's opening on Wednesday at the Wine Cellar, and this will be her single release for Tevas, which we talked about last week.
and that's at Cassette 9.
That's at Cassette 9. Yeah, that should be a good one.
And another band, the Gemini Effect, is playing at the Whammy Back
Back
Room.
Room.
The reason I mentioned them is because they're coming around here in a couple weeks
Oh,
to play
cool.
as well. So it's all happening.
Nice, lots of good stuff.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, one more thing we recommend you see is Written by Wolves will be at the Tuning Fork.
24. Nice.
So there's a lot of stuff happening.
Cool, we'll be out
And
and
again,
about.
people should be aware that this is like the only place in the world where we can talk about live music like
So
this.
true.
It's so good.
It's so easy to forget, but often I'll get friends messaging me who watching my Instagram stories like, what the hell?
Yep.
I'm still stuck in my bedroom.
All right. All right, we got our new up-and-coming artist of the week
Yeah.
here on the Uptown Lowdown. Who do we have today?
We have Underscore, a band of mates once again.
Or you're just here to plug
I'm
your
just here to
friends?
plug my friends.
Fair enough.
But honestly, they're really good. Sort of like prog alt rock
Right.
band, very riff based.
All right.
They just released a single called Never Coming Back.
Should we
a
listen
couple
to some
weeks
of
ago.
it?
We should definitely listen to some of it.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is our new up-and-coming band,
Band for
to
this
check
week.
out, and they are called Underscore.
Won't find me on my knees, my love. Don't do apologies, my love. I know what I believe. I know what I need, my love. Don't pretend to bleed, my love. Tell me what you please.
All right, so now we have a couple of albums that are coming out on Friday that
Yeah.
we think people probably should know about. The first one being The Killers.
Killers. Yeah.
Are you a Killers fan, or are they?
I wouldn't say I'm a fan.
Yeah.
They're like good music, but it's just not my immediate sort of genre.
It's interesting. The band has kind of gone through some weird stuff lately. Brandon Flowers is the main guy,
Hmm.
and so the guitar player and the bass player kind of left the band, but not really, for a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
of their albums, and didn't tour with them. So it was just Brandon and the drummer. And so nobody knew what the status of. So now on this new album, it's called Pressure Machine. I believe Dave Kooning, the guitar player, is back on
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
board. So everybody's happy about that. The bass player, Mark Stormer, is still in Never Never Land, but rumor has it he may join the band on tour.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can run a band like that, but apparently they're doing it.
Seems like it works.
But and the other thing they're doing, usually everybody like trickles out singles for
Yeah,
these
yeah.
new albums. Nothing has been out.
just full album.
There's nothing out right now, so we
Wow.
haven't heard
Yeah,
any of it.
That's actually really, really unusual.
And kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, sometimes you're like, oh, who cares? The album's out. I've just heard 6 singles from it
Well,
already.
I'd love to see the like traction gained from that album, whether that is more than releasing singles and releasing an album, because I've had a lot of conversations with people recently about how singles is just the way to go these days.
Yeah. Yep. Well, anyway, there are some guest appearances on the album. Joe Pug is going to be on it. You probably don't know him, but he has been up to the 13th floor.
Yeah.
Sarah Watkins and Phoebe Bridgers,
Yeah.
who seems to
Yeah,
be
I know
everywhere.
Phoebe Bridgers, yeah.
so,
Everyone's still loving her
So
at the
anyway,
moment.
since we
Yeah.
have we can't play the music, but there is a trailer to
Cool.
kind of plug the album. So let's
Yeah, let's
check
watch
that
it.
out.
Alright, well, I'm 26, so I've lived here for 26 years. I married my high school sweetheart.
My little brother, he moved into the community, and they tried to tape him to a flagpole or a tree up at the high school. So if you don't fit their mold,
It's just small town feeling, and
there are people in town that love me and people in town that hate me. somebody starts climbing out, they want to pull you back down. If you don't have the right name, the right whatever, you know, that's the way it can be.
It's just a nice small community. Everybody knows everybody. Good place to live and to raise kids. We'll be here forever.
Cool. And the other new album that we're looking forward to seeing is from Jungle, Loving in Stereo.
Who are these guys?
I've only heard like a couple of their songs, to be
Okay.
honest, and I didn't even like realize until looking into their album release that sort of multiple of their songs have just been on my Spotify playlists
Right.
that I've been listening to without looking into their name.
Yep.
And this is their third album, so I'm like
they're a
excited
British band?
I'm excited to, you know, listen to them in depth and listen
Right.
to the whole thing and really
Okay.
get into it.
All right. Yeah, British electronic band. But, you know, and that used to turn me off as soon as I hear electronic, but now I've changed my
Everything's
attitude.
pretty electronic.
It is. I mean, wouldn't be listening to
Yeah,
anything. And
yeah,
actually, they're getting that.
exactly.
It's becoming more about melody and song structure and all that
Jungle
stuff.
almost like just a little bit funky as well. They've got like little
Yeah,
bits of funk in there.
I like the funk. So they have a single. I think the most recent one is
Truth.
Truth.
Yeah.
So let as we go out, we'll listen to that, shall
Sounds
we?
beautiful. Yeah.
Cool.
See you next week.
Yep.
For the first time, we didn't see one